In this episode of Motive Garage, presented by Sparesbox, we are installing new coilovers in JET200. So one of the things we've been meaning to upgrade in JET200 for quite a while now, in fact all the way back to World Time Attack 2014 and 15, is the coilovers. Now the old coilovers were made by Wilkinson Suspension back in 2010. They were a custom strut with a Coney Motorsport shock as well as King springs. Now they were fantastic, however, it's all about suiting the purpose of the car. Those coilovers were done back in the days before major aero and was more about having good mechanical grip. They were very soft. We started with a 2.8 kilo rear spring and a 3.8 kilo front spring. And as we added wings and downforce and a splitter and things like that, we did up the spring rates until we ended up at an 8.6. But the problem is once we put on the Andrew Brilliant aided aero onto this car in 2014, it was just way too much downforce for that spring and damper combination. Now you could go a stiffer spring, but the problem is it has to be revalved and reset up for it. And we just, to be honest, we never got around to it. And the way that we actually fought our problem was we put an extra bump stop in the front and we actually lifted the front 2 inches. That's why the car always looks so high at the front statically, but when it went down the front straight of Sydney Motorsport Park, the splitter was still almost on the ground. So it actually moved over 3 inches when you're at 250 k's an hour, which means spring rate just too soft. So when it came time for new coilovers for this year's World Time Attack Challenge, we spoke to our friends at Shockworks and Chris got to work designing and building coilovers specifically for JET200. Now that's the thing about Shockworks. You can't get onto their store and just buy a coilover. You can't just go, my car, click. If you want Shockworks coilovers, you must contact them and let them know the weight of your car, the tyre of your car, the aero, what engine's in the front, how, what you're going to be using it for, etc. And they will build a coilover to suit your application. If it's track only, street only, combination of both, etc. Why is that? Well, they don't just want to give out coilovers that are the same for everyone and ruin their reputation, because they take a lot of pride in their work and making sure their cars go fast. And we've had excellent results so far. So if you want Australian designed and assembled coilovers that are suited specifically to your car, Shockworks are the go. And in case you hadn't noticed online, they're popping up all over the place in so many street, circuit, drag cars, everything. So that's the thing about Shockworks. Not off the shelf, you get exactly what you need. So let's take a look at what we've got. The rear coilover is a conventional style strut, base adjustable. You have a nylon lock here on the spring perch to stop it from binding up, as well as the bearing at the top. Has a helper spring, so obviously if it gets droop, you won't have the spring come out. It stays captive, so you don't have to worry about it going back in incorrectly. And you've got 12-way damper adjustment on the top. So our rear coilovers have a 12 kilo spring rate. Like I said, we moved our way from 2.8 up to 6, so this is double the spring rate that we had before. On the front, the reason you can't see that bump stop in the front is they are an inverted monotube coilover on the front. Same again, base height adjustable. You have the spring perch with the nylon lock. The spherical bearing in the top means it shouldn't bind up. You have camber adjustment in the top, and you have the 12-way adjustable dampers in the bottom. So most of the design parameters of this are what you'd expect for a motorsport coilover. They use very high quality products, and like I said, the main thing is Chris sets up the valving of the damper to match the spring rate and match the application. It isn't as simple as a one shock fits all when it comes to this sort of stuff. They need to be made to suit the application. So what's going to happen from here? We're going to get these into JET200. We're going to get the ride height correct first. We don't have long, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for JET200 development. Let's get them in.